I just got laid off. My wife just kind of came in. She saw me with my head down at a table one day, and she's like, you get knocked down, you get right back up, and you keep it moving.
One of the things I've seen that has helped me and other people I know become more emotionally intelligent is active listening.
If you're not investing in those relationships, whether they be personal or professional, you're just missing the mark in life.
Welcome to the GrowthPlug Podcast. Today I have Daniel with me. And as usual, we'll be talking about how to live by design and not by default, which is what we do on this podcast. Just how can people lead themselves and help every other person around them and not just wait for life to happen. And Daniel happens to be someone who recently has gone through that phase where he had to take charge and control. I'll let him do all the talking, but sit in, plug in your headset, listen, because there's a lot to get out of this episode as we go through it. Welcome, Daniel. How are you doing today?
Good, my friend. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. It's a pleasure to have you here. I always ask this question. How do you describe yourself? Who is Daniel?
Oh, man, that's a good question. Yeah. Someone asked me that a while back, and I kind of struggle on that for a second because I've had so many life changes in the last year or so, and for so long I defined myself by the work I did or the roles that I had. But even more recently, I just turned 50 last year. I'm about to be 51 any minute now, and over the last year I've had a lot of major reflections on exactly that question. Who am I outside of work? As I told you before, I was laid off October of last year, so I've had a lot of soul searching. But at the end of the day, I'm a family guy. I love to be a dad. I love to be a husband, and just a giver. If you want to describe one word of me, I'm just a giver. Everything I do, regardless of work and personal life, is encapsulated in giving to others on the planet, others around me, my family, of course, especially, and those I work with, which is one of the reasons why I started the company that we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. But yeah, besides that, all in on my family and just try to spend as much time with them, especially as I'm getting later in these older years, my friend.
No, but you said something that I think a lot of us fall into that trap is we don't even know ourselves beyond our job role. Yeah. It's only when it takes a drastic life change, that's when people actually sit back to think, really, who am I? And I've had this in my coaching program. Usually I throw people on the spot. I'm like, who are you? Person will be I'm a manager. I work in IT. I enjoy working. I'm like, okay, who are you?
That's exactly how I used to answer the question. Until recently, I'd be like, project manager, this, that, and the other thing. Not father, husband, something to do with the world around us. It was all work stuff.
It was all work stuff. Okay, but you mentioned something. Yeah, you were laid off. Right. I don't think that's nobody prepares for that. Nobody really So walk us through if you can, please. What was that for you? What was that like for you? And was it actually expected, or did it just happen out of the blues for you?
It was, of course, I've been working professionally for about 26, 27 years, so it's not uncommon. It's happened to me before, but this last one kind of shook me for a few different reasons. One, again, I just turned 50, so things were good. We were celebrating. Me and my manager were as tight as can be. We were like best friends, and it was very unexpected because we were doing all the things that the company wanted us to do. We saved the company over $1 billion. I was managing a team of about 1,500 project managers and business analysts, and we were tasked with reducing the cost of our IT spend for the company that I was working for. And we got some new leadership that came in, and as with any new leadership change, especially in an international organization that has, on one of the stock exchanges, they like to kind of mix things up a little bit. So they brought us in, got us on a phone call. Myself, my manager, and my entire team gave us about a 3-minute speech, told us we were all laid off and that we'd be contacted by HR in a few minutes, and then they just got right off the phone. Nothing else said. And myself and my manager, of course, me being the closest to her, I got on the call with her, and I don't think we said anything for 15 minutes. We were such in shock because we had done so much for this company and saved them so money and enabled so many programs and all these other people, all was because of our work. And it was very jarring. And I just remember getting off the call, walking into my bedroom and seeing my wife, and usually I'm happy-go-lucky, I'm all excited all the time, I'm on 35 cups of coffee, and she saw my face, and I guess the way she explained it was it looked like I seen a ghost. And she was like, what's wrong? Did someone die? And I was like, I just got laid off. And she's like, what do you mean? Because she had just got laid off right before that. So instantly, she's a mom, no benefits, no money coming in, right? And thankfully we're in okay shape, but still at the time, the market's still recovering from COVID and some other things and remote working. So the industry of project management is great. I love it. Don't want to do anything else for a living, but the New York, New Jersey area is kind of up and down depending on where you look. And I started applying for jobs, and it just seemed really dim really fast. And as I told you in our pre-talk, I kind of started to feel bad for myself for like 2 weeks, man. Like maybe even longer, until my wife just kind of came in. She saw me with my head down at a table one day, and she's like, "What are you doing? This is not who you are. Like, you get knocked down, you get right back up, and you keep it moving." And it took that jarring conversation from her, and thank God for that conversation, to kind of get my butt back in gear, man. And I was like, yeah, well, what am I doing? Like, I run multi-billion-dollar teams. Like, what am I doing sitting in my room feeling bad for myself? So, as you know, one of the things I started to do, and I missed the community, I missed my project manager, I missed my team, I missed other human beings because I was working remotely. So I already had lost a lot of the connection I had originally. I'd always worked 9 to 5 in an office my entire life in New York City. But it was kind of exacerbated by the fact that I was already working remotely. So my interaction with many other human beings besides my family was very limited. I maybe went to the office once a month or once every 2 months. So I didn't know what to do. Like, I am a people person. Although I'm an introvert, I go out of my way to be very happy and a people person. I love relationships, and I just love building them and maintaining them. And at the end of the day, I kind of didn't know what to do. So I started writing on LinkedIn, and I was kind of, one, looking for a new job, of course, and two, just trying to connect with some old friends, some people I'd worked with, stay in touch with some people that were at my last job, and just trying to put my best foot out there. And in the meantime, not knowing how long it was going to take to find a job, seeing if I could get back into mentoring, something I hadn't had much time with the last 3 or 4 years. I usually mentor a lot of people. I try to do as much as possible. So I kind of realized very quickly that while I'm looking for a job, there was an opportunity for me to again, help the world, help the project managers, help to give a leg up to the next PM coming up and share my experience with them. And then from that moment, it just went crazy. And all of a sudden, 60,000 followers and a community, which now leads me to the other part of my life. Very unexpected, man. Like, this is not something I plan to do. I just wanted to work full time, get my benefits like a regular person, but something struck me, and in the conversations I was having with hundreds of project managers, if not thousands, the messages I was getting, it was very clear that at the end of the day, there was one thing that everyone was saying in some version of what I'm about to say. They were scared. They were scared for the future. They were scared for AI coming in and taking over their job. They weren't sure that they were going to be able to compete in the market nowadays. So after talking to them and kind of taking all that stuff and my mentoring and wanting to give back always, some teaching and writing I've done in the past, I kind of figured out maybe I could kind of put all these things together and maybe do something. I'd always wanted to either build a place or have a place that someone else built that I could kind of come. So that's what led me to my life change. Now I am the CEO and founder of the PM Playbook, which is a one-stop shop for project managers. And what we're going to do now is exactly that. We are going to, putting aside the certification aspect of project management, we are going to build the first human-centered project management / leadership organization in the world, where we focus solely on helping the next project manager coming up, lining people, put them together, courses, training, and the best part of it, it's free. It's going to be a free resource. There will be some classes that are paid. They're just for really just to help fund, not to become millions, just kind of fund the platform. But we want to build a true center of excellence where project managers could come without regard for cost, noise, all that other stuff that's around them, and just have a place where they could just make things happen and learn how to develop their career and get ready for AI to come and take a piece of their job. Because at the end of the day, if you can't stand out when AI takes 50% of your job, you're not going to be able to compete. So we want to try to fill that gap. And that's pretty much, in a nutshell, the whole thing that's happening over the last year. So it's been a fun experience. I don't think I've slept in like 2 months, but the feedback has been amazing. And I finally get to do all the people giving things that I love and my family loves, and it's just in my DNA, back for the first time on a grand scale instead of just a one-on-one basis.
Wow, a lot to unpack, and we're going to
go through all of this.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. At least I got every part of it, and we're going to break that down, because the truth is there's somebody right now listening to this who probably just got laid off. The person is heads down, just like you said, and doesn't know where to start. And that's why we have these conversations, right? Yeah. We keep it real. You mentioned something. Your wife had to remind you who you are. And I think that is so pivotal when it comes to moving past challenges, right? Yes. Challenges happen. It's life. It's part of life. Sometimes you don't plan for things. They just happen. But I think the challenge most times is people just stay down. They just stay there looking for who will come rescue them instead of looking for a path out of their challenge. It's like, hey, someone come help me.
Yeah.
come help me.
And I've actually done that myself in the past when I was a little bit younger, but that did not work out well. No one came to rescue me.
For me, it's you're literally what I say to people who do that is I understand the feeling of maybe feeling helpless in that situation, but waiting for help is you really depending on something that is way beyond your control for a rescue. And the chances of that happening to you, because there are so many other people waiting for that rescue as well. So what are the chances?
You're going to be on a long list, my friend.
Long list. So that's why I said, okay, now let's help people, right? But there were certain things, you mentioned something, and you thought about it. You led a project of probably millions and even running to billions of dollars, right? How important was that experience for you to then get back on your feet? How important was that?
Oh, that's a great question, man. It was probably, thank God I had that experience, because I've led many projects before that were multi-millions and the tens of millions. I've led all different kinds of teams, but this was the first opportunity I had for about a 5 or 6 year period consistently where, again, I had worked with global teams before, but not in this capacity, where I was working with about 110 different countries, people across the globe. Yeah. That 4 or 5, 6 year period enabled me, I learned so much about cultures and times and holidays and just like things that you take for granted in America sometimes that are just there or available, and the relationships I formed and being able to manage so many different people considering all those things, customs, cultures, religions, holidays, and it sounds simple, but when you're managing it across 100 and something countries and all these different things are going on, it's not easy. Beyond the projects themselves, and we did a great job saving a lot of money, it was the people management component, and that certainly reinforced my desire to want to work with others. My belief, also many of my family, relationships. They make the world go around, personally or professionally. If you're not investing in those relationships, whether they be personal or professional, you're just missing the mark in life. We're here on this planet to not just do stuff for myself. We're here to enable the next person, our community members, whether they be local or global. And at the end of the day, I think that prepared me for what I'm doing today. Because of course, we want to build a global organization that touches every continent, every region, every country, every city. And by using those skills and those customs and those little things I've learned about everyone in all these different countries, I'm succeeding much faster, and the company's succeeding, and we are enabling engagement at a rate that it just blows my mind still. When I look at the data every day, I'm like, is this actually happening? And it's also enabled me to not always lead conversations with this is what I want, this is what it's always. It kind of changed the way I frame conversations where the first thing I do is I want to know about you. What are you going? How's your wife? How's your kids? How's your family? What's going on with your life? And then, maybe after a few minutes kind of come together, see if we could work on something together. But it changed the way I think about everything, professionally and personally.
Amazing. One thing I always say just tying back to what you said, people feel like when they leave the corporate environment, right, as they know it, most times it's, hey, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. But what they don't know is the kind of skills they have developed over time, mostly if you've worked for a while. It's gold. But people don't even recognize how much value that is. The capacity, the network, just like you said. You said. For me, I always say, like, there are 3 things you get out of an organization. And it depends on how much you want to leverage that. One is resources, financial, intellectual, right? Building your confidence. Because if you've done that on a global scale, it's different from someone who hasn't done that before. Yeah. Right? And then the network, I'm sure there are people within your network that if you reach out to, based on the kind of work you have done, that opens opportunities that typically others might struggle to come into as well.
Absolutely. And that was actually one of the biggest drivers for my kind of turn into this is I still had hundreds, if not thousands of relationships at this company I just left, let alone all of our clients across the globe, which of course I reached out to all of them, and the feedback, they all wanted to help me because we had developed such great relationships over the last 3 or 4 years.
Amazing. Okay, no, but good. Now let's talk around courage, right? It's what now.
My favorite.
There's one thing is you plan for this to happen. The other thing is I didn't even plan for this to happen. It just happened, and now I have to pick it up, right? Having like thousands of people reaching out to you and literally looking up to you to help them navigate life. That takes a lot of courage. Run us through. What does that feel like for you waking up in the morning? Does it put a bit of pressure? How does it work right now for you?
It is, and it's fun. This is one of the questions, different version of this that I get asked a lot, and I joke around a lot about it because anyone knows me. Like I'm one of the most humble people you ever meet. I joke around, and I think I overcompensate with laughing and stuff because at the end of the day, I never want the spotlight to be on me. I always want to put it on my wife or my kids or I always am trying to kind of deflect. And this recent growth on LinkedIn and some of the stuff that we're doing with the PM Playbook, I'm just navigating that today. It's something I've never dealt with before. Like, I'm always, again, like, great job, great job, great job. It was them, it was them, it was them. It was never me. I never had put it to focus. I didn't want it. Even when someone says great job, I'm like, oh, that makes me feel a little weird. But these last few months, I kind of I try to become more open-minded. And man, some of the comments I get or not even on like my LinkedIn posts and stuff, just messages that people say to me, things such as, I was about to quit project management. I saw your post. I stopped for a second and it literally got my butt back to work. Thank you. Or thank you for those few tips on my resume. I got the job we talked about for 2 hours at length, without asking for anything. And just those kind of comments, and I'm getting them all the time. Plus LinkedIn, has an algorithm like social media, and you constantly have to feed it. And it is tiresome. It is like a full-time job. Yeah. But man, the relationships that I've made, including yourself, like I probably had 500, 600, 700 coffee chats with people, and I built such great friendships. But yeah, like again, I'm so humble, and even when my partners mess around with me, I kind of joke about it because at the end of the day, it just makes me feel very uncomfortable. I think I'm still settling into that. Like again, I am not the master of the universe or anything. In my mind, I just want to help people, and kind of having the spotlight turn back on me a little bit is kind of strange. Even on like calls we have, I always let them talk, and I kind of sit in the background because I want them to be highlighted, my team, and I want the community to be highlighted, and just kind of keep an eye on it from the outside. But unfortunately, I can't do that all the time. But flipping, I'm about halfway through, probably another few months, and I'll feel a little bit more confident, comfortable in that. But courage, you nailed it with that word. I've had courage in many situations before, but this environment, what I'm trying to do, and the courage to even get out of my introvert shell to even talk about myself on a podcast. I've turned down so many podcasts. I think I told you, I've turned down so many. I don't like to talk about myself inherently. But this is the first one. I was so excited to talk to you because we're very much on the same page. But yeah, man, like the courage that it takes just to even start a business or to even reach out to someone on LinkedIn you don't know and say, hey, I saw your stuff. I liked it. How was it? So people are so afraid that I talk to a dude. I'm like, you just got to do it. You just do it. Like, I didn't I just did it. Like, if someone liked it or not, I thought about that. It made me nervous. I had anxiety about it. Or people laugh at me, all that other good stuff. I just did it. And the best thing was people liked it. And it seemed to help people. So I continue to do it. So yeah, it takes a lot of courage. It might not seem like it, especially in that aspect. And people think, you have so many followers on LinkedIn or some other social media. It's so exciting. It's not. It's great, the relationship part, but it is a lot of work. But there's lots of days where I'm like, I just don't want to do this today. Listen, my community depends on me, and I am a fervent believer. If you spend even 1/4 of a second commenting or saying great job or whatever on any of my posts or messages to me, you deserve the same amount of time or more back in response because you spend a little bit of your day reaching out to me, so you deserve that back. So I'm kind of trying to figure all this stuff out, juggling all these balls. I'm sure by the end of the year it'll be a lot easier, but it's been a fun ride. But yeah, courage is something I'm still working on today in that area.
Indeed. I think every one of us, we are running this podcast, right? Because you're constantly out there now. And for some of us, that's not really what we wanted. Like, you just want to do your stuff and be behind the scenes. But I feel when people are gifted, when people are given certain privileges and you can use it to help other people, it might not be what you want, but that's what will help you do what you are called to do, and that's what you need to do. Go for it.
Even I used to, every time we'd see something on TV with my wife, I'd kind of make fun a little bit about like celebrities and stuff and all the crazy things they do, and I used to always follow that up with imagine what they could do with half their money to a neighborhood or a school program or something like that. And I'm kind of stepped into, obviously I'm not a celebrity, and I don't think I am.
You're almost there. You're getting there.
Some of the little tiny bit of influence I have, at least in the project management space, is enabling me to, again, put that nonsense to the side and focus on the giving part, which is exactly what I've always wanted to do. I just couldn't never find a way to do it more than one-on-one. Yeah. Now I have.
No, and that's a rich mindset. I like your focus on giving. Yeah. I think it can't go wrong. You can't get it wrong, right? Because it's coming from a very sincere need to help people, so they will even understand. And no, just keep doing what you're doing. Now let's talk the world of entrepreneurship. You've been in the corporate world. I guess you've always had a boss. In the corporate
Mostly,
world.
I've had a business or two before, and I've had some partnerships, but 95% corporate. Yeah.
95% corporate. What does it feel like now doing this full time? Like this is what your life is right now. No one is setting KPIs for you. You're the one setting them yourself. You have to push yourself
Yeah.
to get it done.
Oddly enough, I was just having a conversation with my team about KPIs and OKRs, and we have to start developing them. So yeah, it's scary. That is the first word that comes to mind because I don't have that security net. I don't have guaranteed health insurance. I don't have a check that comes in every 2 weeks. I don't have the safety of, if I have a bad day, I could just call out or just, maybe not work as hard today or something like that. I have to work 18 hours a day every single day, and there's no money coming in. Like, we are doing this. We are spending every hour of every day literally together online, one way or another. I'm trying to build something amazing for the community that no one's ever seen before. And I know that at the end of the day, if you do the right thing, you give value first, and you support a community that you, especially one that you love so much and has given you so much, that things take care of themselves. I've seen it in my life. My wife has seen it. I've seen it everywhere, right? And many people have. And at the end of the day, I firmly believe that I will be provided for in one way or another. Again, mission is not to become a rock star millionaire, to drive a brand new car. This is solely to help other people. And again, any monetary stuff that comes along with that is really just to fund the platform and keep ensuring that we're developing and delivering new things to the project manager so it stays fruitful and valuable, and that we just don't build something that you come to once and you're kind of like, this was nice, and then you leave. It needs to be upkept. So yeah, like at the end of the day, it's very, very scary. Fun, exciting, exhausting, but scary. I've never, even when I've done other things before, I had places I've always been on a little bit better foot. I had planned it before, so I had the insurance in place, I had the money in place. This was cut, boom, you're now doing this, with a little tiny break in between. But yeah, it's scary, man. But again, courage again comes up, right?
Yep.
Every day I wake up and I'm like, can I do this? Like, look at my wife, and she's like, you're doing it, like you're getting the thing, and these people are supporting you and this and that. And those little conversations, my team, and all the little messages I get from people are what keep me going, because there is a lot of days I'm like, is this worth it? Are people going to like it? Am I doing this for no reason? How am I going to feed my family? Like, I still have 4 kids and a wife. Like, how am I going to take care of them? But again, I just know from personal life experience and seeing it in others that if I do the right thing, put my best foot forward, give first, that I'll be taken care of in one way or another, and my family will be provided for.
Oh, indeed. And by the way, shout out to your wife.
Yeah, big time, big time. Yeah.
She's like Spider-Woman or Superwoman behind you. Like, hey,
oh
keep
my
going.
God, man! Like she has to listen to me, like, not in tears, but I get emotional sometimes about this. Just even some of the message I get from people, it like goes right to my heart of who I am as a human.
Yeah.
And like I see this potential that others see, and I think I have like this vision of like a million miles away, and I could see it. I feel like we're so close to the start of getting there, and if we could even do some of the things that we're thinking of, it could really change the project management community. Again, barring certifications aside. We work hand in hand with those folks, but all the other stuff, the opportunity is massive to change the way project managers talked about, how we think about it, not only as PMs, but as the people that work with us, organizations that employ us, and really just make such an impact on the global world and society that it could be amazing. We'll see if that works out, though, my friend. Hope we're catching up next year at the same time, and things are going well. So.
And we're going to probably catch up and say, okay, how is it going? Let's see.
I love that. Yeah.
Okay, but now let's talk this PM space and the future of work, right?
Yeah.
Every single industry is feeling the heat of AI coming in and doing stuff. And I guess, like you mentioned, that's why probably a lot of project managers are also scared for their job. So what role do you see project management playing in this AI world we are swiftly heading into?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm asked it a lot, and I also ask the question a lot, because I think, at least in my mind, there's 2 different pieces of the AI question, right? There's the tools, like the AI tools we use to do our job, which at some point, if it hasn't already, depending on where you work at with regions, some other things, it's already taking a piece of your job. And I actually welcome it. Most people do, because it's usually a lot of the menial automated tasks, so you can kind of put a lot of that admin work off to the side and really focus on your team and people. But then there's the other side of that, where AI comes into play, where you're managing AI projects, like not just the tools themselves, but you're now creating and managing AI projects where you're the one responsible for potentially putting people out of work or automating different responsibilities and roles within the PM space, among others. So that seems to be a lot of the conversation I have with others. But yeah, like Certainly, AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Every month it gets bigger and better. There are a lot of people that are trying to come at it from a standardization, at least in the project management space. I know PMI does a lot of great work, and they've just bought a company, and they're really trying to shore up. And in the certification, kind of tackles a little bit of both of those worlds, which is great. You get one foot in each one of those spaces. But yeah, everyone I talk to is scared. At least in my own work, I could see AI replacing 25 to 50% of my work, which is great. I got more time, but what happens with that time? What do you do? What happens when you are laid off or you look for a new role or your company goes out of business? How do you now present yourself to the employer? How to differentiate yourself with AI? When you say, I could do this, that, and the other thing, but now they say, well, I have a tool that does that. I don't need you to send all these emails and do all these other things. I have a tool that does that, or I have 3 or 4 tools that do that collectively. So what do you fill that time with? And it's the people part of project management. At the end of the day, remove the tools, remove the frameworks, remove the certifications, the methodologies. You're left with just the human being. The core of project management is the human being, right? And managing teams and other people and relationships. So what makes sense? You kind of combine those 2 conversations together, and the only thing that makes sense is try to elevate those skills, emotional intelligence, help drive and elevate the human-centered project management role, and trying to enable project managers to succeed in any situation, up and downstream at the organization or with clients, and really give them the tools and techniques to enable conversations, deal with stress, work with your team, support your team, but also make sure they're doing what they need to do. So certainly it is going to take a portion of each PM's role and responsibilities, and certainly could potentially put some PMs out of work or reduce the number of PMs needed at certain jobs or companies. But again, to me, that's a major opportunity. Now we could, I think we focus so much on the certifications and the tools and all that great stuff that we've forgotten some things. We've forgotten that we're still the ones that drive the projects. Like, it's our responsibility to deliver these projects and the value for the company and be strategic integrators for the organization and make the clients happy and all that good stuff. But all of that takes conversations like this. It takes you knowing how to read someone and work with someone and get them to do what you want in a nice way, and be able to make sure that it aligns with the goals of the project and the company and the client. So there's a lot of work to be done, and that's really the main core driver of the PM Playbook. We want to fill that gap so you don't have to do all the searching, looking for a bunch of disparate resources across the internet, or potentially some people maybe trying to take advantage of the PM space where they're now trying to sell all these different tools and techniques and these books and courses for these people. We are project managers. We are going to build this with a project manager in mind, from the emotional intelligence side as well as the human-centered side, and we are going to try to build an organization that addresses each and every concern or element of the human component of project management. I really think, and many others, hundreds, if not thousands of project managers I've talked to some degree of that, believe the same thing. Again, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's only going to get better and faster and all that other good stuff. Depending on where you are, there's going to be a percentage of the job that's going to take. And again, if you have to get a new job, how do you compete? How do you compete against someone who's a great, intelligent, emotionally intelligent project manager? If you don't have those human skills, you're not going to get a job in the future.
Yeah. No, and you just mentioned something. As part of what my company we do, and when we consult for businesses, I say to them, right, usually there's this dichotomy, hey, you're a product person, you're an engineer, you build stuff. We are the guys that understand people.
Yeah.
And we do our thing. But more and more, that line there has to be convergence, because more of the engineering and the product is being taken away by AI, whether we want it or not. That's what is happening. So now I tell them, hey, if you want to make your team operationally efficient, you want your team to be productive, stop looking towards just tools and systems and processes. You need to start looking at people, right? And I think some people still don't understand how that will work.
Yeah,
because
I've seen that myself. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's not the traditional stuff we're used to. Because within the engineering field, obviously we talk about emotional intelligence, but the question is it deeply practiced? Do people really understand what that means?
Yeah.
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm finding. That's one of the driver for this, because we all say EQ and emotional intelligence, all these different things, but I used to be a network engineer. Like, I was not the best at dealing with human beings, and many of my engineering friends weren't. We were very technical. Give us the specs, we'll design the code, we'll put it in the router, we'll connect the wires, and we'll go on to the next project. And their interaction is very limited. But just like you said, my friend, it with AI doing a lot of this and all these different tools and technologies coming into place, now you have to if for anything else, you're going to have more time in your day to have to do it. So you're going to be expected to do other things or other little pieces of roles or deal with the client a little bit more. So again, if you're not prepared for that instance to happen or it comes abruptly, you might be out of a job or you might not be considered for that next promotion or that next role within the organization, or the client might not be satisfied. Like, people need other people, and to develop your emotional intelligence, to me, it's mandatory nowadays. I don't care what role you work in, especially with the tools of technology we have to develop our emotional intelligence for all people, especially in the tech, product manager, program manager, project manager. We have to develop those skills.
Yeah. And just throwing back this question to you, what would that look like? How can people then, who have been so long in the project management space, in the engineering, product design, and all of that, what can they start doing to be more emotionally intelligent? Because that's the next question people will ask. I think I'm emotionally intelligent, but maybe now with what you're saying, maybe I don't even understand this. So how do I build
actually went through a similar conversation with myself. When I'm talking to all these different people and I'm hearing the same stuff. No one really mentioned EQ or emotional intelligence, but they were talking about it. And I don't even think they realized they were talking about it. So as I'm taking notes and I'm jotting everything down, I'm kind of sitting back. I took about a week or two break, and I just kind of sat down and figured, is there something here? And as I'm kind of throwing everything into the internet and Google and ChatGPT and kind of trying to come up with some ideas, it all just pointed to emotional intelligence. And even I was like, what does that actually mean? I'm doing tests and I'm doing all these little different tests that have been performed. And it took me about a month to truly understand what it meant. I kind of reconsidered all the engagements, interactions, the conversations, the trust lost or built, the talking, upwards in my company or down or at my team or to the client, or how to deliver reports, how to deal with, one of my team members that comes in, God forbid, someone in her family died that day. Like, how do I get through those situations? So I started to kind of go through all the different conversations I've had really quickly in about a month period, and just kind of jotted some stuff down and started kind of taking a look back and saying, can those things be addressed? Or are those just like normal things that people deal with, not even realizing it's emotional intelligence? And even the program that we're going to be deploying in November, it's built around that. It's built around thousands of hours of conversations with people. So there are some good books out there. I can't name any offhand. There's only two I found. One of the things that I want to hit on, I would certainly do a little bit of research. Emotional intelligence specifically, especially like in the professional environment, there doesn't seem to be, although I've seen some, there doesn't seem to be much training around it. There's a few books about it. Tech people like us, we like certification stuff, right? We kind of want to get around that, but there's not much certification around it. So and if you do find resources, make sure they're at least in some way related to the work you do, because emotional intelligence itself is one thing. It teaches you how to deal with people and all the things we talked about, but taking that into the business world, that's a little bit different. Like, you have to then apply some of those tools and techniques and frameworks into the business world, and that takes a little bit of experience. So that's kind of one of the gaps that we're trying to close. We're trying to do some of that work for you so that you don't have to do it. So when you pick up all these mostly free resources, that you now have a place where you could, let me take a little test. Here's some resources. How do I apply this in product manager, program manager, project manager? How do I apply all these things? And here's the tools and techniques to do it. So there's not many, and if they are, they're few and far between. There's not some place that kind of consolidates a lot of this information yet. So again, that's one of the reasons why we decided we're going to try to do this ourselves. Amazing. And fingers crossed it works out. But product manager and program manager, they're so similar. I'd say probably 60% of the role is so similar, man. And I want to make sure, although it's a project management focus, there's going to be stuff on there directly related to project and program management, because the roles are very similar. And even if they're not exactly similar, the things we go through as product and program and project managers are so similar. The demand, the needs, the client, the iterations, they're so similar in nature that the tools and techniques and frameworks can apply to all three of those roles, for sure, and others.
Oh, Indeed. And maybe one thing I'll add is, one of the things I've seen that has helped me and other people I know become more emotionally intelligent is your ability to listen, right?
Yes, that's
Active listening. Because mostly if you're an engineer and you're this smart person or a project manager, the tendency is, once someone says something, you're like, hey, I have a framework for this.
Yeah, exactly. I already got the code figured out. Or
I know how this works. I know what you're talking about. You're not listening. you're literally trying to impose your own ideas on that person, even without knowing. And that's one thing a lot of tech people miss, because you've seen a similar problem before, but it's not the same problem. Sometimes we find it difficult. And I'm saying this because I studied mechanical engineering. I've worked as an IT engineer. So I'm so into the engineering stuff. And typically it's equations, right? 1 + 1 has to be equal to 2. You can't convince me there is something in between.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's something in between, and that's the human emotional factor. In that moment, 1 + 1 might not be what you want it to be. It's not exactly what that person expects. From a very emotional perspective, the logic, you are correct. Emotionally, you're not correct.
Yeah, 1 + 1 could equal Z to somebody else. Like, you have no idea.
You have no idea.
You touch on such a great topic. If there's one thing I would leave the audience with, again, putting aside all the tools, techniques, and training and books and all that stuff, if you want to start actively paying attention and trying to develop your own emotional intelligence, even more, active listening. Pay attention more. Speak less. Listen more. When someone talks to you, listen first before you say a comment. Wait till they're done. Consider what they've said to you. Don't respond immediately. Start doing that for a month or 2-3 months, and you'll see your perspective change, the way you approach things change, and you'll see your personal and professional relationships explode in positivity, man. And that's pretty much how, besides the digging into books and all that stuff. Besides that, I started to practice that because I actually read that somewhere. Try this for 90 days, active listening. So I kind of just sat in so many conversations with people like, why aren't you talking? I'm just listening. Just listening away. Reading your face. I'm seeing how you're saying it. I'm seeing, if you're sweating, if you're agitated about something, just taking all that in, because that's going to help me be a better leader, a project manager, a teammate, an employee, a boss. Like, start there. Give it 30, 60, 90 days of just active listening, and you're on your way to become a more emotionally intelligent.
Oh, yeah, indeed. No, but quite interesting, and we look forward to your PM Playbook, because beyond project management, we're going to learn quite a lot of things. Yeah, we really, really look forward to all the things you have to show to us in your book. Just do let us know when it is ready. But before we go, and we've been at this for like almost 40 minutes. Can you imagine? Before you go,
exactly, right?
I always ask my guests, right? And this is me being also emotionally intelligent. Right now, you're building the PM Playbook. How do you rest? How do you relax? How do you unwind?
That's a good question. And again, very much mine with the emotional intelligence, right? And the one good thing is I'm a project manager. The one bad thing is I'm a project manager. I can't, and I mean that the bad part is I want to deliver it. This time it's delivering for myself, so I have an extra burden on me. The good thing about being a project manager in this instance is that I know how to manage time. I know how to manage it minute by minute, second by second, hour by hour. So although the last month or so, especially since I brought on a team, that was one of the decisions I need to make. I sat down with myself and said, I can't do this by myself. Like, I need a team of people. So I, examined myself and others. I looked for research people. I kind of took interviews on, and I started to build a little team. And now they're building a team underneath them. So I've kind of stepped back from that role a little bit, and it's enabled me to work more on the strategic relationship, building the business, getting the word out there. But time management is key. The last month or two has been insane, but this month that's about to come up, including my birthday is on August 28th, so the week before that, next Monday, I've redone my calendar. I cut all the noise out, unless it's with a meeting with my team or some partner or potential opportunity to do some kind of collaboration with someone on the business. I've cut the noise out unless it's family related. I need downtime, and my family needs it at the end of summer. I have to spend some time with them before my kids go back to school. So yeah, that's kind of the biggest thing was me. I have trust issues, and it's hard for me to kind of give up control because I want to control things inherently. So to even bring a management team on or a leadership team on was a major step in courage for me and emotional intelligence, knowing that I can't do this. I need help from other people. So to give those reins over was difficult, but the benefit has been a billion times, man. They are great.
Amazing. So do you have any plans in mind for your birthday, like something fun? You don't have to tell us everything. Right?
Usually just at dinner with my wife, like with the kids, life, family, work, it gets crazy. And I just like to, me and my wife, we have one place we like to go for our special places, and we usually go there. Good food.
So from the GrowthPlug Podcast, we're saying happy birthday. Enjoy your birthday.
Friend. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you for all you do. For those listening, please go on LinkedIn, follow Daniel. He's putting out a lot of stuff. He's building something massive as he has described here. And there's so much to learn, mostly for you to prepare for the future of work, for the future as it's coming. So do well to listen to him, and stay connected. We look forward to hearing your questions, and then I'll forward them to Daniel as they come, or message him directly. Thank you, Daniel, for making our time for this call. It's been
Thank you, my friend. I had a great time. Thank you.
amazing. So do enjoy the rest of your day, and bye for now.